I'm Dennis Brekke. I was in the service from 1960 to 1962. We got drafted and went to my basic training in Fort Hood, Texas. And I took advanced training with heavy artillery in Fort Hood, Texas. We got done with that training and they sent me to Germany.
So Dennis, you went to basic training in Fort Hood?
Yes.
Okay, what was that like for you?
Well, that was pretty hot because I went in June through August, I think it was.
Sure.
And it was pretty hot, but it was good training.
Give me a typical day of training. Do you remember?
Oh, you get up early in the morning and you eat. You get out there in the field. You had to walk out in the field. We had to maybe go 8-10 miles. We'd walk every morning, every night, coming in, maybe 6 miles. I don't remember. And then we'd work all day out there. And there were some days it was so hot in Texas you couldn't go there. You know, you had to go in and take classroom stuff. A lot of times we were training under 110, 115, 120 degrees. You know. And you're from northern Minnesota, you know, that's a lot different.
Right. So what a living condition like? Barracks? What kind of barracks were you?
Well, barracks then we had were just, they were just like a sheep barn, you know. And
was it the old wooden ones with 2 stories?
Yeah, it was the old wooden ones with doors in each end, and that was our air conditioning. When they opened the double doors, and we'd get the air to come through, but you slept damn good after working hard.
Yeah, yeah. And what was the food like?
Pardon?
The food? How was the food?
Oh, the food was good. They seemed to make good food, you know. So then days we were hungry, we worked hard, we ate good.
So you're in artillery. Did you get to fire cannons or anything?
Oh yeah, we took training there in heavy artillery, and we fired big guns, and we fired like I can remember some of the ones, 4-deuce mortars at that time, and it was different, you know. And then we trained in PC carriers and driving tanks and that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, you drove some tanks? You were in tanks?
Yeah, I drove some tanks. I drove some PC carriers, and of course it was pretty good training. But it was only 8 weeks of training, you know. They were getting you ready for bigger stuff, you know.
Good. In 1960, so Vietnam hadn't gotten hot yet, so.
No, it got warm. When I went over there, they were starting to have scrimmages in Vietnam, I think. But when I got called to Germany, then we were back up for Vietnam. So I'm listed as a Vietnam veteran because they pulled me over there and I spent time overseas, just like.
So you did basic training there. Did you have graduation or anything, or parade, or? Well,
yeah, they had that, but I can't remember so much of it because you had to stand up there. I know it was for quite a while, but before you got through with your program, you know.
So where did you go for AIT then? AIT, your advanced training,
well, I went there to Fort Hood, Texas. That's what I was talking about there. I went the first 8 weeks there, and I went to our first 16 weeks, and I went to the second 16 weeks there. Okay. And then I got sent overseas then.
How did you, so did you get some time off before you went to Germany?
No, they didn't give you time off much then, you know.
You didn't get to come home?
The first 8 weeks we got some, after we got done with our first 16 weeks of training, then we got a little time off, like a few days, I don't remember how long, you know. And that was sure nice to get because it wasn't...
But not enough to come home or anything like that?
Yeah, we came home for a few days. Yeah, I think we must have got a couple of weeks off there.
Okay.
Then we had to come back, and we took our second 8 weeks of advanced training. And that's when we went, and we got done with that, we went to Germany.
Okay. So how did you get to Germany? Fly? Boat?
Pardon?
How did you get to Germany? Did you?
Well, we flew in the old MAT Airlines, they called it. And they sent us to fly over there in those airplanes. And I think you sat backward and went the other way. They were different. And I think there was around, whatever the airplane held, you know, it was 200-300 at the time, you know. And then a lot of them went in ships. I didn't go in ships. I come back on a boat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you're in Germany, what did you do there?
I worked in a personnel office. I got here. I took advanced training to all kinds of stuff, and then they shoved me in a personnel office.
And what'd you do there?
Yeah.
They call it G2, G6? Or?
I got. Well, I come over there and I went to play some basketball one night, and they wanted me to see what I could do there. I played, and all of a sudden the guy comes up to me and says, "Say, would you like to play battle group headquarter basketball here for our team?" Well, I said, "How am I going to make that?" Well, he says, "I'm the coach," he said. And I said, "Well, I don't think my captain will let me off for that." He says, "If I say you go, you go." So I was assigned on special duty then for basketball for that 1 year, one winter.
So did you do both jobs, clerk and?
Yeah, when I did when I got assigned to basketball, that was a special group of people to travel all over Germany and Europe, part of it, and. We just did that. That was our job. I went to Germany. I went all over. I went to Berlin. Remember, I was I don't know, a year then there. That's not a year, about 9 months, 7 months with TD White of basketball. Then we come back and I went to work in headquarters basketball or training for.
When you were there, did you travel around the country quite a bit? Or?
Oh yeah, we traveled all
Europe?
over Munich, all of them, all of them.
But mostly in Germany, or did you get?
Yeah, mostly in Germany. Yeah.
Did you go outside of Germany at all?
No, I don't think I traveled outside of Germany. We just stayed inside. We played teams that we had better stuff than some of those people did out maybe. So, but they come to play with us and. Each big post had a battle group headquarters or whatever, that played ball. And you were entertainment for the troops because there was no TV, there was no, I don't think TV even had came there yet much,
Uh-huh. And so, how was the food in Germany?
Oh, that was good. We ate there a lot. That was good. I brought my wife over there. I got permission to bring my wife over there after I'd been there a few months. And so she come over, and we got permission to live off post and then report in and not out. And I think she was there 15 months and I was there 19 months over in Germany.
You were there 19 months, so you spent...
Yeah.
So you were in for more than 2 years then, or just 2 years?
My wife was from Greenbush.
Okay,
Yeah.
And so, anything special about Germany that you can remember? What sticks out the most?
When I had the early training, when we had to go, everybody had to go out, no matter what you were in. They had the big. Well, we sometimes got ready to go out and go ready for battle. They call it, because they didn't know what was coming. I mean, this was just to go out.
Training.
So you had to go out and sit in the field, and even if you were in headquarters and run typewriters or whatever, you had to go out there. And I was in Germany when and went out onto the. I went out when they called us out when President Kenny was standing up against Russia, and Germany or Russia had trouble with them. You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. And,
the Cuban crisis, or?
Yeah. Then we went out and we had to be ready to go to, because they thought things were going to get worse, but they finally settled down. So.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought it was a good place to live. The people were nice. They'd forgot about World War II, and they were happy to see us there, helping rebuild their country and do things better for them.
Yeah.
I think I liked to be there for the sake of just seeing people and visiting with people. I was drafted, so I was about I suppose 21, 22 when I got drafted, something like that,
So what did your folks think of you being in the service?
Well, my folks, they just felt that you had to go. It was days when you felt obligated to go when you were drafted. You didn't bitch about anything. You went and did your job.
Yeah. And what was your rank when you,
I made what they call Spec 4. I'd been there 11 months and 10 days, and they promoted me on a special deal to what would be the same as a corporal, SP4, Spec 4. So I was that all the time I was there. And I remember Elvis Presley, he had just left before I came. He had lived in Germany too, and he just left, and they had a house and so on. So we thought that was quite something, you know.
Yeah. So your wife, she flew back?
Yeah, my wife flew back when she went home. She flew back, yeah.
And you ended up taking a ship?
And I had to take ship back.
How many days were you on the ship?
8 nights and 9 days we made it home. Well, I had an awful time for 3-4 days. We were locked down because it was so rough. You couldn't even be up on deck. You might have lost people.
A lot of seasick?
It was, pardon?
A lot of people get seasick?
Oh, seasick. I can remember when they were going up to the next floor to eat dinner or something, someone would throw up. It wasn't very nice to go eat them, you know.
Yeah.
It just was rough, awful rough. And then it settled down, then it was nice. But that's a long time on the water for me. I wasn't trained to be on the water.
How many people do you figure were on that ship?
I think it's around 1,500 troops went home.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Well, so you get back to the States and do you
Well, see, I worked there. I had about a year, I suppose, working in personnel over there. And then so I went back, then I got home. I didn't have much lined up to do because there wasn't much to do around here. There wasn't jobs like now, you know. And
did you go to a post where you mustered out, or?
no, I came in on the boat from Germany, and they just give you your papers to go. And at that time, we could just go when you had your paper filled out. You could just go, and they had to show that paper to any airlines wherever you were going, and they had to accept that.
Right.
So they took you home.
So you weren't at any fort or anything? Just got off the ship and you're out, or?
Yeah, we were out, and just whenever you got done with your paper.
Okay. So then you came home, or?
Yeah, then I came home. It didn't take us long getting home, you know. Was happy to be home again, you know. But I enjoyed the service. I played a lot of basketball over there and had a lot of fun and had made a lot of friends. And I had played basketball in Bemidji when I was first year of college, and I was going to go back. I never got back because I went and got a job, and the job was pretty good, and that's kind of how it went until the Army got me.
Yeah. So what'd you do when you got out?
I tell you, I come home, and my dad had a small farm up by Carlson, Stranquist area. And we went and we lived in Stranquist, if I remember right. And then finally I got to be a part-time policeman in Stranquist. And then old Oscar Erickson, the old sheriff at that time, he come and wanted to know if I'd go to work for him. So I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose, you know. Well, he said, if you're good, we'll train you, we'll send you to school. You didn't go train first and then go. You went and worked for somebody for a while to get educated in that field. And then I went after I got working for him for a while. He got me part-time, then I got on full-time with him.
As a sheriff, or?
As a deputy, yeah.
As deputy sheriff?
And Oscar Erickson was the sheriff, and I was deputy. And he went, and I worked for him for 10 years or something like that. And then I ended up, I ran for sheriff in 1979, and then I got elected sheriff of Marshall County at that time. And I held that office for 20 years as being the head sheriff of the county then.
Okay, how many deputy sheriffs do you have working for you?
Oh, I had 20-some people working for me back then, yeah.
Okay.
And 10 field deputies.
So as you were being sheriff, the head sheriff, what thing sticks out in your mind the most?
What's the most?
what event sticks out mostly in your mind?
Well, we ended up, we had quite a feather in our hat. We caught one of the 10 most wanted in the United States back then, and that's pretty good for a small outfit. So, and I suppose probably one of the bigger things I had was when I had a NFO deal here in Marshall County, and that was really a big thing. And I had a lot of interviews. I think I had I must have had 200 calls from overseas to different places all the time on that, but I had a lot of calls on the private.
Why were they calling you for the NFO, National Farmers Association?
Something strange and unusual happened. The sheriff, he handles everything strange and unusual and try to find out what happened,
Oh, UFO, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
I was the sheriff.
Okay, yeah.
I started an interview with people because I figured if I started an interview, got to settle down, I'd be done with it. Well, I wasn't done with it. Just got started, kept going. So there's a lot of strange things that people like to hear about. Things have happened to them. They don't know what exactly is going on, and so that was a very popular thing. It's still popular today.
Sure, you see it all the time in the papers, yeah. And who was the one you caught that was the most wanted?
Yeah, I won't say his name, but I caught him. We caught him.
Okay.
He ended up. He had stole a truck over in Grafton, and he come driving into our county. And how we ended up anyway, we ended up shooting the back tire out on the vehicle he was in, so he couldn't go very far anymore. And he ended up stopping, jumping out. And it was winter time, and remember we told them throw their hands over their head and they laid in the snowbank, But the service itself, that was good. I feel that we should have never quit the draft for young people. I figured they learned a lot more than just the service. You learn to respect and do things and find out how this great country got helped by what they did. And we need to have more young people that know a little bit more about what we did. You give up part of your life to go and help your country, and that's okay.
Yep. I've done quite a few interviews, and you're not the only one that said that, Dennis. So, thank you. Anything else about your military career, or?
Well, I was lucky. I asked permission to bring my wife to Europe, and you could do that because it was peacetime yet then. It was starting scrimmages, but it was peacetime. And I think that was a really fun time when I could bring my wife over, and we went here and there a few times,
Okay.
And I just think it was just a great experience for me.
Good, good. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I seen a lot of bad, when I come home and was deputy then the later years, then we had to notify people that their son got wounded or whatever it was, because I was a deputy and Oscar and I had to go out and notify people that their son had been shot or wounded or whatever, and we had a few of them that we must have had 20 of them we notified on that got hurt or shot or wounded, got okay. Some of them died,
Yep.
And that makes you think.
Yeah. Well, that was a tough job to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, anything else, Dennis?
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I could go a lot more, but I wasn't prepared for all of it. So I hope I helped give you an idea.
Well, this is your story. So if you got anything else to add, just go ahead.
I just think that, like myself, I got 5 sons, and none of them went into service because they were at time of peacetime, later years. And but they're all educated, and they're either school teachers or something else, and so we're trying to make the world better, and most of the people are,
Yep.
I got one thing that I remember my dad taught me. He said, he talked about election years coming up, Donnie. Anyway, he said, if you want to bitch, that's okay. But if you don't vote, you don't bitch to us, sons.
Right.
That's the way he always looked at it. So he taught us that young and early.
Yeah. Smart man.
Yeah, good.
Anything else?
No, that's about it. So
Well, Dennis, I want to thank you for doing this interview and thank you for your service.
thank you very much.